guys, it's Mia here, and we're standing up again today. And don't worry, I'm not as bouncy as in my Rise of Magic's review, so we don't have to worry about it. I just felt standing up today. And I know my hair is wet. I am fresh out of the shower. So, yeah. Now, today we're going to talk about the one I told you I was reading in the last review, and that is Winter Solstice by Ellen Hilderbrand. Now, this book is only just about 300 pages, but I kid you not, it felt like I was reading a 500 to 600 page book, and it is not that big, especially flashback compared to Rise of Magic's. I mean, look at the size difference. I'm excited for this one. It's kind of a small one, which is a great vein away from this one. Now, you would think with the size difference being so different, I would get done with this book so fast. But this book is so freaking boring. I mean, my grandma, because she read this before I did, because she doesn't keep her books like I do, so when she gets books, she gives them to me, and then I read them. So she did tell me there was a lot of drama in this book, but that did not prepare me for how much drama there was actually in the book. I mean, you have characters going to prison for selling girls for favors. You have people going to prison for trade fraud. You have people cheating on people. You have attempted sexual assaults. You have a broken family with a divorced son who his girlfriend is trying to deal with that. You have an old lady trying to retire from her newscasting job that she's had forever. Then you have a war veteran struggling with PTSD who is 22 and somehow fought in Vietnam when Vietnam happened years ago. And this book is set in modern times because they have modern technology, and they even mention modern technology and stuff that happened around 2017. Then there is someone struggling with cancer, and his wife is trying to sell their house, and then you have, it's just so much drama. All that I listed is actually in this book, and like I said, it is just shy of 300 pages, plus it's not a very tall book, so it's very condensed and very short. But when I say condensed, I do not mean in the writing. The writing has details that I'm like, did we really need to know about this? We are following so many characters. Do we really need to know every single detail about what somebody's room looks like? I don't think so. I want to see what's going on. I mean, we have, I think, like 6 different characters we're following. There's Bart, which is the one with PTSD. There's Eddie, which is the one that went to jail for selling off his cleaning ladies. There's Ava, who is the one dealing with the little kid having trouble with his parents being split up. Then you have Kelly, which is the old man with cancer. And then there's Margaret, who is his wife. Or not Margaret, not Margaret. Margaret's the lady that was retiring from her job. It's a strange name. Mitzi. Mitzi? One of those. Then you have Jennifer, which is the girl that, she's a fashion designer that nearly got sexually assaulted. And there's just so many characters. That's not even all of them, and it's only a 300-page book, and you're sitting there telling me the exact dimensions and decorations of a room. Do we really have time for this crap? I don't think so. So, not only is it hard for me to follow because there are so many different switches in perspective, But it is also hard to follow because half the time I was sitting there going, this book feels like it is 500 and some pages long, and it's only 300 pages, and it's tiny. It's not like Breaking Dawn or Twilight, which is both tall and long. This one's short and skinny, and it still feels like I'm reading a 500-page book. And I'm only have 100 pages left, and I cannot do it anymore. I'm DNFing this book, and I don't think I'm going to come back to it. I mean, I've read a few books now of this style, and you know, I've very much enjoyed them, especially James Patterson's Letters to Jennifer. I read this a long time ago. It's not along his vein of like murder mysteries like normal. It's a book kind of like this. Just a like slice of life deal. But, and I read other books like this. So it's not like I specifically don't like this type of book. It was just so freaking boring. And with the amount of drama that they shove in, with this book being so small, you would think it'd be a very interesting story. And you would think that you'd want to see the characters through their drama. But it's so boring. And you're like, am I reading a soap opera or am I reading an interesting story? I don't even like to watch soap operas. I don't want to sit there and read them. Drama in books like action and fantasy is welcome because a lot of that drama correlates to what happened in the story. This feels like she's trying to shove in drama for the sake of having drama. I mean, you have so many characters, and not a one of them, like all but one of them, are memorable. And I think to me, that's because he reminds me of a family member. And it's Kelly, the one that has cancer. And I'm not saying he reminds me of this said family member because he has cancer. But the main reason I liked Kelly's storyline so much was only because he reminded me of my grandpa. So other than that, I could care less about any of these characters in this book. They're bland, even despite all the drama. They have horrible relationships because they're all cheating on each other or hiding stuff from each other or she's waiting for him to die. Like, she's completely given up on Kelly. And I'm like, lady, come on. Like, the characters are terrible people. Except for Kelly and maybe his son Bart. And it's just so boring. And she had the potential to make this a very good story, but she did not deliver on that potential. She just kept giving us useless information, adding on way too many characters that I did not give zero care about. It's just terrible. Terrible. And half the time I'm sitting here like, I feel like I'm reading this book for school and I was therefore forced to read it. I am falling asleep over here. Literally, I read around noon to 3 because that's when I'm the most awake. So it's not like I'm not awake enough during these books. But it was honestly putting me to sleep. Like, I found myself dozing off against my pillows over there. Like, I would be sitting up reading, curled up, all comfortable, like, and reading the story, and next thing you know, my head's going. Because it's that boring. How do you have so much drama jam-packed into this tiny little book and still have a completely boring story? And I guarantee you, Kelly dies, because it seems like every one of these stinking books has someone with cancer and they die. Like, I can't imagine a reader that likes these kind of books that has cancer, and their family member brings them books to read while they're in the hospital to help them get through the hard time that they're going through. And they read it, and the character with cancer just dies every single time. Like, how would that make the patient with cancer feel? That's terrible. Not everyone with cancer dies to the cancer. I know it happens a lot. But there are a lot of people, too, that pull out of the cancer and they get healthy. I'm so tired of seeing the cancer trope for emotion in books. It's boring at this point. It's sad, and I feel bad for anybody that likes to read that has cancer, because it seems like everybody tries to shove that in for emotion. And at this point, I am sick and tired of seeing it used that way. There are plenty of other illnesses. Use them. Or there are ways to make us care about characters other than giving them cancer. It's predictable, it's boring, it's annoying. Stop it. So that's my thoughts on the Ellen book, The Winter Solstice. I know I called it The Winter Storms, I think, when I was talking about it in my last video of books. But I don't know. I'm done with this book 100 pages in. I can't do it anymore. I forced myself to read that far, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm D-O-N-E. Done, 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 done. So, there is a book that I was planning on reading next, and that is The Wrong Sister by T.E. Wood. And this one looks really interesting, and it sounds very interesting. But for whatever reason, I do not know why, I have been so tempted to revisit my Twilight series. And I also have the rewrite, The Anniversary, from a few years ago, Life and Death. Now, it's been like, I don't want to say it's been since middle school, because that would be a lie, because I reread it when I got the Flipside book. It's been a good 7 years since I've read it. So, yeah. I don't know why this series has been calling my name. So I might just read it so I can get it out of my head, and then I'll read this one. And if I do read it, I think I'm going to read it, review it, then watch the movie, then review the movie. And I'll do that for the whole series, except for this, which doesn't have a movie. So, alright. What are you guys reading right now? Or do you have books to recommend? I might not read your recommendation, or I might have already read it. So, tell me some books in the comments below, or let me know what you're reading, or your thoughts on what you're reading. Alright, I'll shut up now. Hope to see you next time. Bye, guys. It's editing me. I know I said I'd stop talking now, but I realized as I was editing this that I forgot to talk about something this book has that is really a bookish pet peeve of mine. And that is starting a chapter on the same page as the last one ended. I hate when books do this. It makes it feel very unfinished and very just thrown together. So that was another reason that this book ended up being a DNF for me, is because I really hate when books do that. Okay, now I mean it this time. Hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.